Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here and welcome back to another episode of my YouTube channel where I talk about Ninjago. Today we're going to be taking a look at the history of the ninja suits, because why not? You guys seem to enjoy history videos. So I figured, hey, why not break down each suit and go through them chronologically? Now we do need to set a few ground rules before we actually get started here. I am only talking about the canonical suits from the actual Ninjago TV show itself. So this excludes the Ninjago movie suits, the AIRJITZU or NRG suits or anything like that, and I believe a few other ones as well. Pretty much if we haven't actually seen them in the show, then we're not going to actually count them. And no, I do not count the NRG suits as being the true potential suits, even though that's what they're supposed to represent. They're obviously still just these ZX suits with a little bit of energy going through them, so we're not going to count them as actual suits. You can argue about that in the comment section, but this is what I'm going to do for the video. And yeah, I figured I'd just go through each suit individually and talk about them and sort of just give my opinions on them. I have no idea how long this is going to be, and I'm dreading my next video where I have to sit and talk about every Ninjago set ever that existed in the history of anything. So that'll be fun. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it by talking about the first suits that we ever saw. I'll have some stats down at the bottom of the screen or something like that where you can actually, learn a little bit more about the suits if you have not done so already. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching are Ninjago fans, but I digress. Here we actually have the first ninja suits that we saw on screen, those being the all-black sort of trainee suits. They were pretty much given out to Cole, Jay, and Zane when it was just, the squad of the three of them serving under Master Wu. So we really didn't see Kai get anything like this, which I can, accept. And I really do like these suits a little bit. Again, they're basic and they're simple and they're all black, so they lack any sort of elemental color or anything like that, but I think they're pretty cool for a first start. Next up, we have the OG ninja suits, the ones that they actually got when the group of four were finally united under Master Wu's care. I can't talk for some reason today, forgive me. But yeah, these suits are classic and timeless. You really can't go wrong with these. They're simple, they're colorful, they're a little bit similar, which I do like. I like the unified suits. I like when they're all sort of similar but have their different flares and colors to them. And these are probably one of my favorite suits out of the entirety of the show. Next up, we have the DX suits, or the Dragon Extreme suits. These were first given to the ninja randomly when they stumbled across their dragons, which I don't know how they got them. I don't know if they made them or if the dragons gave it to them. I really don't know for sure, but I know that somehow they got these suits when they obtained a little bit of a bond with their dragon. And yeah, they do have a pretty simplistic design, but they do have a little bit of writing on the back in the Ninjago language, I think, or some sort of Eastern language. And of course, on the back of the suits, they do have their name, and on the front, they do have the nice dragon detailing. Next up, we have the KENDO suits. Now, these suits are actually kind of easy to explain. They're basically suits that were given to the ninja by Master Wu, basically to train and fight against each other. Of course, in the show, we saw the ninja using them to, I guess, test out their golden weapons. So we saw a few of them actually fight each other there. We had, I believe it was Kai versus Jay, and then Zane versus Cole, and then Kai versus Cole. But yeah, these suits are pretty cool. They're not really meant for actual ninja missions. They're pretty much just meant for combat practice. Next, we have the ZX suits, which stands for Zen Extreme. Don't ask me what that means, but yeah, these were basically the suits that we saw the ninja use, I guess, most commonly throughout the series. These were pretty heavily, I guess, present in the first 2 seasons of Ninjago, of course, until the next suits came around. But yeah, these suits are also very iconic. I'd say that these ones are probably the most iconic out of all of the ninja suits to date, which is why they've made appearances in, for example, the Lego movie. But yeah, these suits, while a little chaotic in a few areas, especially in terms of design, they're pretty cool. These were the first suits to introduce shoulder armor, and they had the little helmet armor as well. So I guess they built up a little bit more against enemies, for actual combat, which I guess is a good thing. A lot of them really weren't made strictly out of cloth. They were actually designed with all sorts of materials. So again, these suits were probably one of the better ones that the ninja had. Next up, we have the elemental kimonos, and these ones are probably my favorite suits out of the entirety of Ninjago. I love the way that they look, and I guess the legendary backstory behind these suits is actually one to admire. So basically, the ninja acquired these suits when they finally made it to the Temple of Light, and practically, of course, energized Lloyd. The ninja were all gifted with these suits as well as Lloyd. Lloyd later went on to gain the golden version after he unlocked his true potential. So yeah, I mean, these suits were pretty cool, and they definitely have a nice design to it. Sort of similar to the ZX suits in a way, but not entirely, and I do kind of enjoy them. In fact, I really enjoy them. Next up, to one of the most basic suits that the ninja have ever had, these are the TECHNO suits. These suits were first given to the ninja by Cyrus Borg during the initial comeback of the Overlord, and they basically assisted the ninja in camouflaging themselves from ninjoid detection, despite how well that worked for the ninja later on in the season. But I digress, these suits still looked pretty cool. These suits were the first ones to introduce the half mask, so they didn't actually have the full hood for these suits, they actually just had the little mask that covered their mouth, which I did think was a little weird, and it definitely works better on some other suits that we'll see down the line, but the TECHNO suits overall were pretty cool. Speaking of TECHNO suits, the Golden Master suits, or the Golden Ninja suits, or whatever you want to call them, were only in the show for a brief amount of time when the ninja were in the Digiverse. Basically, the ninja managed to harness some of Lloyd's golden power, and they all became supercharged with golden power themselves, turning their regular TECHNO suits into a nice gold color, which design-wise they're the exact same as the TECHNO suits, but of course just gold. Next up we have the stone armor suits, also from Season 3. These suits were used by the ninja to fight the Overlord during the final battle, in which Zane actually ended up giving his life, and these suits were basically designed with elements of the stone army that basically resisted golden power, so they kind of played a reverse situation there to the actual final battle, where it was the Overlord using the stone army to fend off the golden power of the first Ninjutsu master. It's sort of a nice parallel, and the suits actually do look really cool. Of course, they have all silver armor, which makes them all look like a team, and again, these suits are among one of my favorites. Next in line, we have the tournament suits. So when Master Chen was holding the tournament on his mysterious island, the 4 ninja participants were gifted with these suits, which are basically just tournament robes as they appear to be. They do have some nice writing on them overall, and they also bring back the half mask, which I enjoy, but for the most part these suits are kind of, I guess, sort of simple and kind of oddballs of the entire lineup, and like the kendo suits, really aren't meant for actual combat. Alright, so the Zukin or the jungle suits were first given to the ninja. Beats me. I don't know where the ninja got these suits. They just sort of had them halfway through the tournament. I believe they were given to them by Chen sort of just as a bonus for making it through the rest of the tournament, but then it really wouldn't make sense that Cole would have one, or, you know, Zane would have one. They're kind of all similar, and these suits are a little hard to explain, but they're basically the OG ninja suits just decked out a little bit more, and of course featuring their new elemental symbols. Next on the list we have the DEEPSTONE suits, or the DEEPSTONE armor. Basically these were given to the ninja by Master Wu at some point in between seasons 4 and 5, and they sort of fend off ghosts. They're made out of DEEPSTONE, which means they are really heavy and it's hard for the ninja to maneuver around, but they do, I guess, protect against possessions, so that's something. Of course, the actual DEEPSTONE part of the suit didn't come in until later on in the season, and the ninja already had these suits when the season started, so I really don't know how that works, but, you know, we're just going to roll with it, and we're not going to question it at all. Next up on the list, we have the AIRJITZU suits, or the Skybound suits, as they're sometimes called. These suits are also some of my favorite ones that the series has to offer. I'm just a really big fan of the way that these things look with the gold and their individual colors. Of course, they all have gold highlights rather than the ZX suits, where half the team had gold and half had silver. Here they're all gold and they all look great. These suits also combine a lot of elements from the DEEPSTONE armor, such as using the exact same masks and legs, which, I don't know, I think it works more for the AIRJITZU suits than it does for the DEEPSTONE suits. Again, in the series, we really don't know how the ninja got these. They just sort of had them at the beginning of the season, and that does kind of bother me, but I'll accept it because they look so awesome. Next up, we have the Day of the Departed suits. These suits are very reminiscent of the original ninja suits. Of course, some of the members of the ninja team, such as Lloyd and Nia, did not have original suits, so they kind of just get brand new ones, sort of based off that original design. But if you take a closer look at them even more, you can see elements of multiple suits. You can see elements of the ZX suits in a few of them, and overall they're just basically a combination of a bunch of other past ninja suits all rolled into one. And despite me thinking that Day of the Departed is one of the worst things that ever happened in the history of the show, I must say that these suits are, again, among some of my favorites. Next, we have the Hands of Time suits, or the fusion suits as they're sometimes called, which I don't know why they're called fusion suits, as none of the ninja really combine together. However, they do make combined elemental dragons, so I guess that's where they get the name? I have no idea, but these suits are actually some of my least favorites, just because of how messy and disorganized they actually look. I prefer to have things generally organized in my life, and I really don't appreciate the, I guess, just hodgepodging of the designs for these suits. They're just really off to me, and I really don't like them at all. Of course, you guys might think differently, but I really don't see any positives of these suits. We also really don't know where they came from. They just sort of had them again, and I really don't care for these that much. Again, I'm sorry if you like them, but myself, I really just can't get over them. Next up, we have these Sons of Garmadon suits. These really don't have an official name, I don't think. I think they're just sort of there. But yeah, these suits are basically adapted from the Ninjago movie, obviously, despite it being different continuities. But yeah, these suits are really cool as well. They sort of remind me of the, I guess, Day of the Departed suits, or the OG suits, in which they basically reestablish the ninja. Each ninja gets their own unique suit this time around, without any sort of unification whatsoever, despite, except maybe the shoulder armor and the symbols on the masks. And yeah, they really do still look like a team when they're all together, which I can appreciate. I love the designs for these suits, except maybe the mask could be a little different on these. I'm really not a fan of the Ninjago movie two-piece mask, but that's neither here nor there. I think it works amazing on these suits, and again, I really do like these suits quite a bit, and I really don't have a lot to complain about. Meanwhile, these Season 9 suits are some of my least favorite ones, specifically because they look so torn up and battle damaged, which I guess was the whole appeal of these Season 9 costumes overall. I personally just didn't really care for them too much. But yeah, these suits basically were given to the ninja when they got stranded in the Dragon and Oni realm, and they basically had to use whatever they could to restitch their suits and basically fix them. Of course, it didn't work all the time, as, say, for example, Kai and Cole's suits were basically destroyed throughout the entire season, and they were basically wearing rags, but I can appreciate what they did to actually try to fix them. Of course, I do like the little connections between the Seasons 8 and 9 suits, because you can see sort of that linear progression, which I can appreciate. But yeah, I really do like that quite a bit. And in the cases of Lloyd and Nia, I don't really know where these came from. They just sort of had them as, I guess, backup suits or maybe spares. I have no idea. But I guess I enjoy the Dragon and Oni suits more than Lloyd's and Nia's. I really don't know what it is. Season 9 overall didn't really have the best suits in my opinion, but they were still tolerable for what they were. And of course, Season 10, or the 2019 story, whatever you want to say, is sure to bring new ninja suits up to the front. We've already seen leaked images of them, and I'm not going to be covering them in this video because I've covered them in a few videos in the past, so be sure to check those out if you want to hear my thoughts on those. But yeah, guys, that'll just about wrap it up for my look back at all of the ninja suits, of course from the show only, and I guess, just me giving my thoughts on them. This was a pretty fun video to do. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did enjoy watching it, be sure to show that by giving this video a huge thumbs up rating. Ninjago channels need all the help that they can get at this point, because I don't know what's happening. YouTube is just going down the drain again. So, there's that. Also, it would really help me out if you could subscribe if you have not done so already. Big thumbs up, guys. Again, subscribe. I cannot stress that enough. If you want to see more content like this in the future, then be sure to support the channel, because I am on the brink of collapse, both mentally and physically. But yeah, with that being said, the comment section is yours for any discussions you want to have regarding this topic, or if you just had a general comment, that's fine too. Thanks a lot for watching once again, guys. My name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.